Hello, everyone. I'm John Byrne with poets&quants. Welcome to our webinar on career outcomes at Emory's Goizueta Business School. We have the Dean, Gareth James, in the house to talk about the career outcomes at Emory. I will say that over the years, Goizueta has had really a spectacular record of placing its MBA students among the best in the world, in fact. More often than not, Goizueta at graduation and 3 months after is among the top 5 business schools in the world, and that's been very consistent over a number of years. Gareth, how do you do it?
Well, first of all, thank you, John, for having me on. I think it's a variety of factors. It's certainly something we're very proud of here at Goizueta. As you said, our placements typically are among the top 5 business schools around the country and the world. I think it's a combination of the quality of the students, the quality of our careers office, but also the region of the country that we're in. Certainly recently, as you know, the Southeast has really been booming, and that makes it somewhat easier placing students. But yeah, I mean, our class of 2023, the placement rate was 96% within 3 months. And, that's been historically, typically in the sort of mid to high 90s has been our typical number. So something we're very proud of for sure.
And what kinds of careers are your graduates pursuing these days?
Well, consulting continues to be the function of choice for our graduates. Just over half, about 54% of them go into that area. Firms including Bain, BCG, McKinsey, EY, and Deloitte. Finance and marketing round out the top 3 job functions. And then consulting, tech, and finance are the top 3 industries that they go into. Other than consulting firms, some of the sort of Fortune 500s they go into are Amazon, Capital One, Microsoft, companies like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the employers of your graduates, it's pretty varied and broad, from technology, of course, to even healthcare, and other sectors that may not be known, in fact, for hiring a lot of MBAs. I guess that reflects both the interest of your students, but also the interest among employers who find your students to be really great to have as employees.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing an increase in variety of companies that our students are going to. Just like any other business school, we're evolving over time and the types of students we attract. And for example, we're getting somewhat more technology-related students coming into the MBA program, certainly than sort of 15, 20 years ago. That's a general trend I think business schools are seeing, and we're certainly seeing that here ourselves as well.
Are there any other trends in terms of popular functions, or other industries that you're seeing students have a great interest in?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously traditional MBA career paths like consulting, finance, technology, and marketing are still pursued by the majority of our students, but we're seeing a growing interest in business analytics, healthcare industry as well. Certainly throughout my sort of 20, 25 career in business schools, we've seen that MBA students in general are gravitating towards more, I mean, as a whole, are gravitating more towards sort of some of the more quantitative areas that maybe wasn't as traditional for a business program. Now, I would say 10 to 20% of our students really come in with very strong quantitative analytics type skills and interests. And I think that's just a reality to where business in general is going.
Yeah, true. What do you think employers most appreciate about your graduates?
Well, I would put it down to sort of 4 key areas. The first one is experiential learning. That's an integral part of our Goizueta MBA experience. Students learning by doing, basically, putting into practice the knowledge and the skills they've learned and pushing them outside of their comfort zones, basically. The second one, problem-solving skills. Our students really are impressive in this dimension. Starts very early in their academic career. We have a problem-solving course in the first semester, and then they end up applying those skills to a real client project in their second semester. It's a part of the program we're very proud of, and that gets them prepared for their internships over the summer, which obviously leads to full-time employment as well. The third one, I think very thoughtful leaders. It's a strength of our program is our leadership training. We provide intensive leadership development from day one when they arrive, which not only hones their leadership style, but their ability to be good team members. And then the fourth, the topic we were just talking about, data savvy, the ability to develop strong analytical skills. All of our MBA programs are now fully STEM certified, and we have an increasing number of data analytics type electives and courses that our students are taking. So as I was saying, that's becoming a stronger and a stronger part of our program as well.
Right. Now, Gareth, you mentioned earlier the growth in your region of the country and how that has contributed to your great placement rates. But I also wonder how the Atlanta ecosystem has helped the school in delivering some of those experiential opportunities, partnerships, and ultimately employment for some of your grads.
Yeah, it's certainly a massively helpful aspect for us being based in Atlanta and Georgia and the Southeast in general. It makes it a lot easier finding opportunities for our students, both during the program and after they graduate. So all of our Goizueta MBA students complete a client consulting project where they put their problem-solving skills, persuasive communication, and leadership skills to the test. We have projects from Fortune 500 companies like Coca-Cola or GE or Home Depot, ranging to nonprofits like the American Cancer Society or Goodwill. With 75% of Fortune 1000 companies having offices in Atlanta, and combine that with the deep alumni base we have here and a very rich ecosystem to draw on, then we can come up with amazing client projects, guest speakers, industry insights, and of course, employment at the end of that. About half of our students end up staying in Atlanta after they graduate. They love the location, they love the city. I've been here for a year and a half now, and I've really become a big fan of Atlanta. I've enjoyed living here. Great weather, relatively low cost of living, and great employment outcomes for our students. So I'm a big fan.
How do you see technology and innovation changing the business landscape? And how do you see it changing what you offer at the business school?
Yeah, so I mean, technology has always had a massive impact on business, and business has been sort of one of the first areas to innovate whenever a new technology comes along, and that's a great aspect of capitalism. And of course, these days, that cycle of innovation is just getting faster and faster and faster with AI and all the impact that's having. Just one particularly relevant, but only one example of the impact of technology recently. So business schools as a whole, I think, are really striving to keep up with businesses as they change and the effects of technology on that. So I see many ways that that's impacting directly Goizueta and the education that we provide to our students. Just a couple of examples. So we're providing increasing online and hybrid options for both our executive MBAs and our evening MBAs. Just earlier, we were talking about the global classrooms that we now have at Goizueta. We've just gone from 3 to build 3 more, so we now have 6 separate global classrooms for our students, principally in these working professionals programs, seeing a significant increase in demand for that online flexibility, where students can choose to either do all of their classes online or a mixture of some online, some in person, etc. We're also seeing an interest from our joint MSBA, Business Analytics, and MBA program joined together. So we're expecting over the long run to get about 5 to 10% of our business analytics students to decide to do this two program sequence and get the skill sets in both areas. Within our business analytics master's program, there's been a big uptick in demand there. We've doubled the size of the program. We're probably going to add another 50% to it. We've just started a new track in AI for business within that program. So, that's, there almost seems to be infinite demand. I don't know where that's going to go, but it's so far there's no evidence of any decline. And as I mentioned, all of our graduate programs are now STEM certified. Our MBA program, our business analytics, our master's in analytical finance. And as of a couple of weeks ago, our BBA program became STEM certified as well.
Wow.
So this is just sort of a reflection of what's been happening at Goizueta and other business schools for several years now, is the increase in technology and data and analytics as a fundamentally important skill set as our students graduate and go out into the workforce.
And of course, many use a full-time MBA program as a means to change their careers. And it could be they want to change an industry, they may want to change a function, a company, even a geography. And I wonder if you might just talk a little bit about some of those transformations that you've seen at your own school, from one field to entirely a different field as a result of the MBA education.
Yeah, so it's interesting. The full-time MBA has now become a big career switcher degree for not only our students, but I think most top business schools. And we certainly see a lot of students coming in from one industry, maybe marketing, wanting to get into finance or consulting or other industries like that. The summer internship is an extremely important aspect of that transformation, and we work hard to help our students land good internships, and then a high percentage of them end up converting those internships into final offers and often accepting those offers at the end. Some individuals end up moving back into the industry that they started in, and that can be a successful outcome as well. They explore some other areas and decide where they started was a pretty good place to start with as well. We do have also a one-year MBA program, which is a slightly different dynamic. You get a slightly different cohort of students in that program because you don't have that summer intern aspect of it. Often we see their students who are pretty happy with the industry they're in. They're not looking to change industries, but they're looking to gain a skill set and possibly get promoted up into a more senior role. We also see individuals from family businesses and things like that intend to return to their family business, but just want to build a skill set up. And so they don't necessarily need that summer internship in order to switch careers necessarily.
And you've had some remarkable transformations out of the MBA program. I know in recent classes you've had a ballet dancer landed a job in marketing at Microsoft. You've had a teacher land a job as an Amazon product manager, an engineer going to Morgan Stanley as an investment banker, a hospitality manager going to marketing at Microsoft. Yeah. Those are big lifetime transitions for people.
And then they become amazing alumni as well, and they become our biggest champions for the school. Just being able to talk about the impact the school has had on them, and it's been one of the most enjoyable aspects of my role as dean here, traveling around the country, meeting with our alumni and hearing their stories about the transformations, the impact the school has had on them, and it really makes it all worthwhile putting in those hours.
So Gareth, we've talked about your MBA, your executive MBA, your evening MBA, the flexibility you now have in that program, as well as the master's in business analytics, which is expanding in enrollment. And next year, you will enter two new cohorts, one for a master's in management and one for a master's in business for veterans. And I wonder if you might talk a little bit about those two programs and why you're launching them.
Yeah, we're very excited about both of these programs, and we're also excited about how rapidly we were able to implement them. By university standards, it was sort of light speed, going from conception to approvals to applications, and the first cohort of those students will arrive this coming summer and fall semester. So for the Master in Management program first, so that is a program for recent undergraduates that have just completed an undergraduate degree, but not from the business areas. So typically they'll be either STEM students or from the humanities, from the liberal arts areas, that realize that maybe a little bit of business training would be a good idea to help them with job placement opportunities and things like that at the end. And our expectation is that these students will be really impressive individuals when they graduate. You layer in that breadth of general training that they have either in the STEM or liberal arts areas, with the sort of core set of skills as in business that we can provide for them in a 1-year period. They'll graduate with both that more rounded background and the business skills on top of it. And Master in Management programs have been very popular for a long time in Europe. They're becoming more popular within the US. So there's a few schools out there that have very successful programs. We, of course, believe that we can do an even better job with our program. And again, with the part of the country that we're in, we think we can do a good job with providing good job opportunities for those students when they graduate. We're planning the fall semester to be a relatively standard set of sort of core classes for these students. But then the spring semester, a much more sort of innovative experiential component where they're integrating into more industry settings and getting experience within the Atlanta or maybe even outside Atlanta business community to help them when they graduate actually have placements and job opportunities. The second new program is our, as you mentioned, our Master in Business for Veterans program. And this is really a particularly innovative program and one we're very proud of. There are very few schools in the country that have a master's program specifically targeted at military veterans. So this will be individuals recently transitioned out of the military that have retired from the military. Some of our strongest students in the MBA program are military veterans, but the MBA is not for everyone. It's a 2-year intensive program. Many veterans are looking for a shorter program, a working professionals program. They often have a job already and they're just looking for an opportunity to spend 1 year, which is what this veterans program will do, coming in more like an EMBA model where they come in every second weekend, get training in many of the core areas of business. But on top of that, we'll also provide some help with them transitioning from a military infrastructure into civilian life. And some of the challenges that many veterans go through transitioning from that more structured environment to a less structured setup in business. And we have retired Lieutenant General Ken Keane, a 3-star general who's been on our faculty for 10 years now and is a big champion for this program. He's going to be running the program for us. He's already out championing it on many military bases around the country. And we're very excited about our first cohort of students, which will be arriving in just a few months now in May 2024. We've also set this program up so that between yellow ribbon benefits and other federal benefits that many of these students will have, along with significant scholarship funding that we're putting together at the school level, that many of these students will be able to take this program cost-free or at least at a very low tuition rate relative to many of our other programs. So we're excited to be able to offer that opportunity as well.
So all in all, what I hear here is a message that business education is alive, well, growing, expanding, reaching more people, and becoming more flexible.
At Goizueta, at least, yes.
Indeed. Well, in the MBA itself, as you know, for years, there's always been hand-wringing about, is the MBA in decline or not? What is your sense of its value and its future?
Yeah, so I think the MBA has been dying for at least 25 years since I've been at business schools. So it appears to be a slow death, but the MBA goes through cycles, and it's a tricky cycle at the moment. It's actually a complicated cycle in the sense that we're actually seeing quite a lot of demand in terms of applications for the full-time MBA program, but it's not evenly distributed in the sense that there's a lot of demand from international students at the moment. That's dramatically up, but there's been a decline in demand from domestic students. And I think that's industry-wide. That's not specific to Goizueta. If anything, I think we've seen a smaller drop-off than the national trend in that area. But it has been a challenge the last couple of years. We managed to increase both the domestic and international size of our student population this last cycle. And I'm hearing fantastic things about the quality of the students, the first-year students we have in that program from my faculty. So a lot of excitement there. And in the current application cycle, we're actually seeing quite a nice uptick in applications, both from international and domestic students, which is very nice to see. So I don't expect any death of the MBA at the top tier schools, but what we are seeing is that some of the lower tier schools have certainly, and I think will continue to close their full-time MBA programs. So at some point, it might be a sort of top 25 only school thing. And maybe that's fine. Maybe it's only worthwhile doing a full-time MBA at a really top tier school where you can get value for money out of that. What we are seeing, though, is increases in demand for, as I mentioned, our part-time MBA program.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's partly driven by increased flexibility that we are offering in terms of synchronous online opportunities through these global classrooms that I mentioned. And that's definitely a trend that we've seen, and I think other business schools have as well, that there's a significant demand for that. And then I guess the last point I'd add is just that, the ranking of our MBA program has gone up about 9 places in the last 2 years. So we're probably seeing more of an uptick in demand than maybe some other schools are because of that increase in the ranking. And obviously that has an impact on the applications and the volume and such like.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Gareth, it's been a real pleasure again. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Loved your insights. And love the stats coming out of Emory Goizueta.
Well, thank you, John. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And I hope to have more good news to share with you next time we chat.
I'm sure you will. Things are really happening at the school. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Thanks for watching.